Okay, everybody, coming to you from the Pizza Parlor in North Texas. This is Texas Danny, and today's date is the 30th of December, 2021. The year is 2021 is wrapping down very quickly. We're at the very end now of the year, the very, very end of the year now, and we are active everywhere on Earth. I'm watching some interesting developments in California, Southern Oregon, Northern California. The entire San Fernando Valley, the California Central Valley is very, very active, very, very active. Around San Francisco, the Bay Area is active. Also, activity goes out into the southwest part of the state to the northwest of Taft, not far, but up towards the San Andreas Fault. There's a lot of reconfiguration of farmland. That's quantum activity. Those are quantum changes coming into that area, non-Newtonian changes. To give you an example of a Newtonian change real quick in Earth change, that's something that you could have easily seen on Google Earth had it existed back in, say, May of 1980. Prior to May of 1980, Mount St. Helens had not become active and blown its stack, but it blew its stack. Mount St. Helens blew its stack, and then that changed. And so that would have been something that would have been very obviously something that could have been seen after Mount St. Helens blew. That would have been very evident, and that would have been a Newtonian change, because through a geological process, you watch the Earth change and dramatically shift its terrain and that kind of thing like that through violent upheavals. Okay, that kind of thing happens. These are quantum changes. They are not in Newtonian speeds. They're moving very quickly. So again, the San Fernando Valley, the California Central Valley, is very active. I grew up in Los Angeles, California as a kid. I grew up in LA from when me and my mother moved in the very early 1961 to Los Angeles until late 1974. I lived in Los Angeles. That is not my San Gabriel Basin. We lived in the San Gabriel Basin, and this looks like more like a sharp wedge basin area when we had kind of a half oval, large, kind of oval basin area, which was large enough to let all of Los Angeles inhabit it and all its suburbs as well. But that was more or less it. You know, you had some fringe areas past it, some considerable sizes, but the Mediterranean climate there was wonderful, and you had that because the way Los Angeles was in that area. But your areas now are very active or in the southwest part of the state. The vast, large farm areas that used to be primarily southeast of Bakersfield are now going southwest of Bakersfield. You have activity very high in Southern California as the Gulf of California continues to widen and get bigger, and we have a lot of changes in there. We have a lot of changes in southwestern Arizona, southeastern California. These effects are going to go up into Lake Mead, into the Las Vegas area. Nevada is active. We have a lot of snowpack coming in there. It's going to be part of the element package for transformations and changes. We are in quantum actions, and we are continuing to change. We are still drifting east, and this is causing quite a few changes. Mexico continues to be very, very active, especially right just south of Mexico City. Okay, the southern coast, which Zihuatanejo is located, is very busy. You have activity everywhere in South America. South America has a large amount of quantum changes going on right now. You have Bolivia in activity. You have the state of Bahia in quite active as eastern Brazil is opening up in her trek going towards Africa. Okay, this subaquatic activity also underneath the Atlantic Ocean is very high. It's very active. There's the Uruguay counterclockwise subaquatic feature, which is kind of a track mechanism. And it's as South America is coming over, being brought over from the Barbados tract, which is affecting northern Brazil as well. This is altering and changing the course of the Amazon, kind of torturing it. So the Amazon is a lot of tricky things going on with the Amazon, but that water in the Amazon area, that potential is so extremely high because water is one of our chief primary elements for transformation and changes. Now, we still have changes in the United States everywhere, of course. The entire North American West Coast is active, the entire thing, and all around it. Anything on the face of the earth with the ring of fire, as it's been called, we had that as well, but it's quantumly active as well. And so from the Pacific in Southeast Asia, all the way up to Russia and Alaska, Canada, back down to America and Mexico, going back again to the Central America and down to South America. The activity is just extraordinary. But the activity is extraordinary everywhere on Earth. There is no place on Earth that we are not very, very high in quantum activity. South Africa is having quantum effects to it. Angola is reacting to the approach of South America and the changes with the Antarctica and its relationship changes with Africa. And we have the Chad Rift opening up, and this is having its effects going into Cameroon and Nigeria and going out all the way down to Lagos into the Atlantic. Those changes and transformations are coming in quantum quick. The Sahara is opening up with the Chad Rift, and we have the East African Rift opening up. We have East Africa going all the way up to the Valley of the Kings, and the water is flowing right out into Giza. The Mediterranean continues to close. Turkey is on a southwest tract, Greece on the southeast, and Crete directly south. Africa is coming up north to meet it. You have from Morocco out to the Pillars of Hercules is active out there in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean is getting smaller, but also more dynamic. A lot of things are happening. Now, this is having its effects also, very important to mention this. The effects that have to be watched with extreme care are the Geneva Wave, which is Geneva, Switzerland, and the Swiss Alps, and all around Italy and Austria, Germany, out to Poland, down to Romania. The Romanian wheel tract is there. These mechanisms are all set in prime. Turkey has a tremendous amount of changes going, as it has the Black Sea to its north and has the Caspian to its east, northeast. And the Caspian is a tremendous amount of fuel for the coming changes to the Central Asia area. The Caspian, along with the Black Sea, along with the actions of the Mediterranean, and the changes that are taking place in Saudi, and the Gulf of Aden, and the Arabian Gulf, the changes that are going to be coming all into Central Asia, going to be affecting Pakistan, India, going to be affecting the Himalayas, Bhutan, Nepal, the top of the world. Lake Wuves, which is used to be mostly in Russia, and is backed up into Mongolia, but that water, all that effects are going to be tracking right up into northern Russia. Russia is going to have her entire north in quite a frenzy. The north of Russia is rich in quantum changes. Matter of fact, all of Russia is rich in quantum changes. Our largest country on the face of the earth is going to be deluged, along with the rest of the earth, with quantum changes. There's considerable changes that are going to be affecting south of Moscow, going out to the Caspian Sea, into the Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Afghanistan. There is the magnetic flow through those areas, through Iran, through Afghanistan, going out from Saudi, going over into India. These things are going to be going on up into Central Asia. What used to be for me was the Mongolian desert is in the far west desert of China now. And that area is rich in sand and water. There's other couple of prime elements for transformations. Central China and Central Asia and Russia are probably going to see enormous changes, but everywhere in the area is out. Southeast Asia will have who knows what's going on as it comes down into Indonesia, pulls up with Australia, the Philippines. New Zealand continues to track like a wild satellite going out of orbit, further and further towards Antarctica now. And Antarctica continues in dynamic changes. We have a lot of changes everywhere, and they continue. They have not stopped. They keep going. The movements to me primarily is think down, east, but in. Okay, I don't care what the argument is over what the Earth is. Everything is open for debate now because we have to perceive our environment to our best wits end. We have to do our best to understand where we are, what we inhabit, and it's quite the puzzle, and it's an extremely sophisticated puzzle, and it's in action right now, and it's busy. So let me just kind of give you some areas to go over. Of course, the entire west coast of North America, there are changes in the Rocky Mountains. Colorado, people were telling me 2 or 3 weeks ago that Colorado was very active, and it is. It's so active, it's spilling in a lot of activity over into Kansas, and Nebraska is a state in considerable changes. Take a look at all of Nebraska. The entire state is dynamic and in flux. Kansas had a lot of changes, primarily most of the south, but even all up and even in the north. Kansas has a lot of changes. Texas is seeing some changes, some rotation plates, a very large west and central Texan rotation plate. Our bays in the center part of the state are kind of coming together and being consolidated almost like into one super bay. In my old timeline, we didn't have that many bays. We had 2 or 3. That was it. And there's twice as many here. Now, again, we're going to have activity everywhere. We're going to have Florida and a continued dynamic flow. We have the Great Lakes area being pushed east still. You have quantum activity coming through central Minnesota. You have quantum activity coming through central Wisconsin, Lake Pentonwell, right? Going out into Lake Superior. Michigan is catching it. There's a lot of activity there. The Great Lakes have been bunched up. I've talked to a couple of Canadians, and they've told me, yeah, hey, the southern part of the Canadian side of the Great Lakes has changed. The same here for me. The upper northwest peninsula of Michigan never bordered Canada. It was out in the lake. Now it bordered territorial water, but not landmass to landmass. So Sault Michigan's Sault Ontario didn't exist. I don't know, maybe Sault, they both did, but they were not together. Now here, we're getting a lot of activity in New York because it's also responding to those changes as it's being pushed over. And you're going to have a lot of changes to the Finger Lakes, which are taking place right now. Lake Champlain, New England is coming under the gun and for a lot of changes. The Mid-Atlantic area, I don't even bother to look at the Richmond, Virginia freeways because they change all the time. Richmond's a pretty big place, and those freeways around there just keep altering. We have some more changes that are going to be coming out everywhere. And the type of changes that I'm starting to see now, I'm trying to discern, what causes this? Is it going down? Is it going back further east? Does it stagnate? Does it go back, push back in some directions, like it's actually maybe causes some parts of land masses to move west? The west coast of the United States is in a precarious situation. The west coast of the United States is in a precarious situation. It's not in a good spot. And same with Canada. A lot of rich water content in British Columbia. A lot of rich water content in the Amazon, Antarctica, Greenland. A lot of water, a lot of ice coming off Greenland, very quantum fast. In my opinion, these are quantum speeds. These are not Newtonian aspects. These are quantum speeds, and they are happening fast. Again, everyone, prepare yourself because these areas are moving fast into transformations. Brazil is active in our east. The southern part of South America, Africa, everywhere. Look for those things, amazing things to come out of the Sahara. Turkey, Greece, Crete headed towards the northern part of Libya. Libya is also the same. The Mediterranean is closing, folks. The Mediterranean is closing. Earth is super active. The big thing, the big spot to watch, besides the whole thing, is Central Asia. Watch Central Asia. That's something to keep an eye out. Central Asia. Texas Danny out.